You've got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Hey everybody, it's Aaron here again. Excited to bring you this one. This is You Got a Friend in Me. Let's jump right in. In this video, I'm going to teach you the parts of the song, the verses, the bridge, and the intro. And I'm also going to show you what chords to play and a rhythm you can use that will get you through the song. Let's start with verses 1 and 2. All right, verses 1 and 2 are very similar. They follow the same basic structure. Verse 1 ends with the intro, and then verse 2 takes you into the bridge. So the endings are slightly different, but apart from that, you're going to find them to be very similar. So let's first look at the chords we're going to use. I'm going to put them in order, and then I'm going to show you a rhythm. So this right here is middle C. And if you put your hand right around middle C on the E flat, G, B flat, E flat with your right hand and your left hand on the E flat down here, that's going to give you your first chord. And then you go to your B flat augmented chords, which sounds scary. But let's first look at, this would be a B flat chord if I shift those two outside notes down to F, B flat, and D now with the B flat in my bass. That's a B flat chord. To make it augmented, I'm going to take this F, that's the fifth of the chord, slide it up a half step to F sharp. That's your B flat augmented. Then we take it back to E flat. E flat 7, we drop this E flat down to the D flat. That gives us the 7th. And then it's going to take us to an A flat chord. You can be here. My pinky's also ready to grab that A flat down there. But that's my A flat chord. A flat in the left hand, A flat, C, and E flat in the right hand. And then I've got an A diminished 7, which also sounds kind of scary, but it's actually just following a line. I'm moving from A flat to A natural. So I'm going to have A natural, C, and then E flat. Okay, I'm not including the 7th on this one. It's just A diminished. And then it's going to take me to an E flat chord, but because I'm doing this walk, I'm going to actually go to E flat over B flat first. So there's my B flat in the left hand, G, B flat, and E flat in my right hand. And then when I go to the 7th, that's when I'll jump back up here to my E flat in the bass. All right, and then it's going to take me through a little cycle of chords. It's going to go A flat, which we just talked about, to E flat. Now here's a new one, G7. Okay, G in the bass, and again you can do single notes or octaves, and then I've got F, B, and D in my right hand. That makes out my G7 chord, and then it's going to take me to a C minor chord. So C in the bass, G, C, and E flat in the right hand. And then that cycle repeats, A flat, E flat, G7, C minor, one more time, A flat, E flat, G7, C minor, and then here we're going to go somewhere else. We're going to go to an F chord, F in the bass, A, C, E flat in the right hand. Now do a normal B flat chord, and then to our E flat chord. And then we're going to hit a passing chord in here, the C7. So we go back, we go to C in our left hand, G, B flat, and E in my right hand. That's my C7, and that's going to take me back through the cycle, F7, B flat, to the E flat. Now at the end of verse 1, you're going to go into that intro part, which I'll teach you later. Hang around for that. At the end of verse 2, you're going to go to the E7, because that's going to take you into the bridge, which goes to an A flat chord, which I will show you in a second. But before we get to that, let's talk about rhythm, okay? So essentially this song is 2 beats per chord, and you could play and hold the notes for the 2 beats and then just switch between chords. That would be the simplest way. You got a friend in me, 2, 1, 2. You got a friend in me, 2, 1, 2. You know when the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed. You can feel the 2 beats there. It's just 2 beats per chord. So you could do that, just hold it. That's the simplest way. If you want to kind of capture that ragtime feel, you're going to play the left hand on beat 1 and then the right hand on beat 2. And would feel like this. You got a friend in me, 2, 1, 2. You got a friend in me, 1, 2. When the road looks rough ahead, and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed. Okay, that's another way to do it. You may have noticed there I slid down to the G and I did an E flat over G. That's another way to play it. Instead of jumping up here to the E flat, you could go A flat, E flat over G, and then stay on the G for the G chord. It's up to you. I do that sometimes, but that's another way to do it. So there you go. That's an easy way to put two beats in for each chord: left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. Another way to accentuate it or to make it would be to rock your left hand. So you're doing bottom, top, and then you're playing the chord with your top note of your right hand. It would be like this. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed. Okay, that's another way to do it. And then another thing you could do to accentuate the right hand would be to do some rocking, kind of back and forth, like bottom, top, bottom. And you just kind of play with it and find fun ways to accentuate it. So it would be... I'm kind of just playing with the rhythm in there a little bit. We're doing some rocking patterns, and then you sing, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. So that adds a little bit. And then if you wanted to, there's some walking lines you can do in the left hand between chords, like from that first, when you get back to the E7, you could walk up to the A flat right there. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Or wherever it goes from there, but you get the idea. And so you can just play around with that. Use that anytime you're in the verses. It works for verse 1, verse 2, and verse 3. And that's going to get you through the verses. Now let's take a look at the bridge. All right, so I mentioned that at the end of verse 2, you go to an E7, an E flat 7 chord, and that's going to take you into the A flat for the bridge, okay? And so here's your chords: A flat, and here's a new one, D. We haven't done that before. D in the left hand, F sharp, A, and D in the right hand, and then back to an E flat chord, to a D chord. Says D7. You could drop this D down to the C right there. That's going to give you the 7th. And then back to the E flat chord again. Okay, and now here it shows D to D7, G minor, G, G, B flat, D in the right hand, to our C7, okay, which we're going to do there, C down here, G, B flat, E up top, to an F minor. Okay, we played F earlier like this. So here we're going to do F in root position, but we're going to take this A and drop it down to A flat. That's going to be the minor, and then B flat. And that's going to get you through the verse. So here's it's, some of the folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe. But none of them will ever love you the way I do, me and you, boy. Okay, so you can, the first half of that, you're doing 4 beats on each chord. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it's 2 on the E flat to the D7. And then you go back to 4 beats of a chord. D, 3, 4, D7, 2, 3. And then you're going to the 2 pattern for that run out to the end of it there. Okay, and so what I like to do on this one is actually do just kind of like a little hopping thing. Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe. And on this part, you could keep doing that. None of them will ever. But there's actually another thing you can do. It's a little more complicated, so stick with that if you want to keep it simple. Or you can do a walking pattern where you walk up. And so it changes the chords. You do a D here, and then you go to an E minor 7 chord, E in the bass, G, B, D in your right hand, to an F sharp or an F diminished. Okay, I could even keep that part, so I just slide my fingers up there, and F, so F, A flat, B, and D there, and then to my D, but I'm over F sharp this time, F sharp, A, D in the right hand, F sharp in the left hand, And now I get to my G minor chord and take out the run right there. And it sounds like this when you sing it. But none of them will ever love you the way I do, me and you. Okay, so that's another way to do it. And you could keep doing the ragtime thing here too if you want. Once you get to, I suggest when you get to the G minor, that's when you switch to the 2 pattern. The way I do, me and you, boy. Okay, so the whole bridge with the bouncing, with my walking up chord progression, and then going to the ragtime at the G minor sounds like this. Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe. But none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy. And then takes you into verse 3 as the years go by. Friendship will never die. Okay, so let's look now at verse 3. Verse 3 is very much like verses 1 and 2. The only difference is that there is a slight change at the end of the verse. So we start in the same way. And as the years go by, to the E7, here we go, A flat. Friendship will never die. To the E7. Now here's where it changes. We got, you're gonna see, we've done these chords before, and then we get to hear our destiny. So a little walking pattern, we went A flat to A, B flat with the E flat in the right hand, and then a G7, but instead of playing G in my left hand, I'm playing the B. So B in the left hand and F, B, and G there, or D there. You could do this also because you have the B in the left hand, so you could leave it out of your right hand. However you feel you want to play that chord to cover those notes, and then to the C minor there, okay? You're gonna see it's our destiny. And technically there's a fermata here, it pauses, and then you come back to you got a friend in me, which we've learned this part. You got a friend in me, and you've got a... I double the length of each chord right there the last time. You don't have to. You got a friend in me. You can go to the outro right there, or you could double it. You've got a friend in me. You kind of make each chord twice as long before going to the outro. All right, so that's all the parts of the song except the intro, and you've been hanging around long enough. I think you deserve to learn how to play this intro, so let me teach you how to do that. Alright, so the chords that you see here on the intro from Ultimate Guitar are the chords, but we're not really going to focus on those chords. Instead, I'm going to teach you the right hand melody and a simple pattern you can do with your left hand. Okay, so right hand first. Here's the notes of the intro, and then I'll show it to you, but I'm not necessarily going to go into the details on the rhythm part of it. You'll have to just kind of feel the rhythm. But here's the notes. So we outline an E flat chord starting on the G, so G, B flat, E flat, and then I'm going to go to F, F sharp, G, and then back to the E flat, C, F sharp again, to the F, and then E flat, B flat, A natural, A flat, G. Okay, so those are all the notes. Here we go again, the notes of the intro. Okay, one more time slow, and then I'm going to put it with our rhythm. Okay, and you have to kind of work that out, get those notes under your hand, and then start to speed it up. And the first note is actually just after the downbeat. So you're going to hit an E flat in your left hand, and then you're going to start right after that on the and of one. Okay, and then the pattern you're going to do in your left hand is a walking or descending bass line. So it goes E flat, D, C, B natural, B flat, B flat, E flat. So you can do it where you bounce back and forth like this. Or you can just do it where you hold the note. Okay, and then when you put them both together, it sounds like this. I'm going to go real slow, and I'm going to keep it simple in my left hand first. So it's like this. Okay, that's how they fit together. I'm going to do now the jumping pattern in my left hand so you can see how that goes. I'll still keep it slow. Okay, and that's the intro, basically. And at the intro, when you play it at the beginning, it does kind of this holding pattern. So you end here on the E flat, and then you go to a B flat in your left hand and a D in your right hand, F sharp A D chord, and then B flat again. This would be a D flat chord, F A flat D, and then back to the D chord again before you get to the beginning when you sing, "You got a friend in me." It's kind of just like this holding pattern as you work your way through those chords. And then later, though, when you play it at the end of verse 1, you don't do that. As soon as you get to the E flat, you start singing again. And then on the outro, when you play the intro part again, you don't do it either. You just end on that last chord. Okay, so the way you play the intro is slightly different, whether it's in the intro, between verses, or at the end of the song. But let me show you how you do it at the intro, and I'll start singing so you can see how it fits. But it starts like this. Here's my E flat to D, D flat, D. You got a friend in me. So you can see how that works, where you're kind of holding for a brief part before you begin singing, right? And then at the end of the verse, verse 1, it's "You got a friend in me." And then sing, "You got a friend in me." And that's verse 2. You just start singing verse 2 from there. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, drop me a like and a subscribe. I would appreciate the engagement in my channel. And also hop over to Amazon. I've got a book on there, a piano chord book you can actually use. It is a great resource to help you learn how to play the piano. All right? Thanks again. Until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you then.